Hello world, WayofTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So I worked very hard over, a few hours and went to the end and did a bunch of Enderman hunting. And after, I'm not sure how long it's been, I managed to get a tier 5 Enderman soul shard. So it really messed up my armor and I had to recharge many times. But thankfully, we finally have some stuff that we can be, well, proud of. So, without further ado, let's actually continue now that we have enough shards of minium and some ender pearls to get cracking. Okay, so one of the things we're going to need to add, first of all, is a simple method to create all of the silicon boules that we are going to need. Now, for that, we are going to also require some charcoal. Now, I did basically tidied up this base area, added some walls, and I'm going to expand on it in the future, but at least we got a nice architectural design. Now, also, another thing, as soon as I stop saying now so many times, I'm going to change the floor so it's not just some sort of bricky mess or anything like that. So, let's kind of continue. So, for our alloy furnace, we're going to need to place it here to be consistent with everything else. And it'll need to have managers and etc. But also over here, we're going to need to put our little area to continue our stuff like that. You know, this stuff. You know what I'm talking about, right? Right? Yes, okay, so putting in mag tubes, because I don't think we're going to really continue this part over here. We'll continue it over here since this stuff is more that size. Let's bring this over, and we're going to need to dig a bit underneath as well to get this portion of it. Now, I hope this is the right amount. If not, we can always extend it in the future. Now, we're also going to need to hook up our energy, so underneath here, we're going to need to get our energy line that is connected over here. And to be consistent, I think it'd be a good idea to have it right underneath the tubes. Close enough, at least. Okay, so over here, where is that? There we go. Yeah, so we'll need to get rid of this stuff, and if only I could have a setting on the drill that didn't destroy everything in sight. Gosh dang it. And I destroy the one that I'm supposed to keep. Good job, Way. Good job. So let's focus on bringing the power over and hooking it up like so. Good. Now we should start getting power in there, and it's going to need to continue underneath as well. I'm pretty sure because there are other portions of it. So let's be consistent and get it all done right away. Consistent? I'm not consistent. What are you talking about? So this is going to be charcoal and is going to really test whether it can handle multiple requests for wood at one given time. So this is going to need quite a bit of wood, and this is going to output the charcoal. Now we should make sure that we can actually see what we're doing, so let's do this a bit. And hey, why not? Let's get this out of the way while we're thinking of it. Okay, so we need some wood as a sample, and we'll also need to use our blue electric furnace. So wood, let's just take an entire stack for now, and place this here. And actually we do not need the power supply, so let's actually get rid of that. It's never easy on me, okay? I just can never seem to get it the first time. There we go. And thank goodness we have enough bricks. Paving our way to the future! Or something similar. Okay, so sorting machine is going to need to pull everything else out, and this should finally get some power. And another part is that we'll need just some tubes here for our other manager. There we go, and once we set this to that, we can finally set this for wanting an exact quantity of wood, I think 32 is a good amount. So we'll request 32 wood, and it'll finally go into the blue electric system once we set the priority to 1 instead. So there we see the wood, it's going in, and it'll start making some charcoal, and once this part gets jammed, we'll be able to add our charcoal thing here. So we'll want to also, maybe it'd be a good idea to put what we have right away instead of relying on the good grace of God to not royally screw us up. There we go. I have fun here. Okay. And just as simple like that. And who needs gold anyways? Just switch and flick. So, now that we have our iron chest, we'll be able to get at least some sort of quantity of charcoal. Let's set it so that it wants all of the charcoal, first of all. And then set this so that it'll also want all of the charcoal. So then we'll start filling this up with charcoal and this with wood. And eventually we'll get to the point where we can say, yeah, this is enough charcoal. Can you please stop? It'd kind of be useful. So we got that, and I think that is good. So all we really need to do, right now at least, is hook up our other thing, which is going to be our alloy furnace to request sand from over there, and the stuff over there to get their silicone boules. So start getting power like that. Sorting machine we'll need to place and flick around like that. Good. And then finally set. And hopefully we can get this in the right orientation right away. No chance in hell. There we go. And then we're going to need a chest. So let me get this stuff set up, then we can toy with it. And here we go. So set it to priority 1 for that. Set this to automatically take. We're also probably going to need to get another cover, or rather steal one for now, from over here to make sure that our brickwork doesn't, well, get into the brickwork, because that would be unfortunate. And unfortunately, I have to go and be a tunnel cat. Did I say you could go there? There. Thank you very much for your patronage. So what are we going to need here? This is going to contain all of the silicone boules. All of them, I say. And what we need is a constant supply of sand, which we'll get from here, and charcoal, which we'll get from here. But we're going to need to set this up so that there's some more charcoal. And let's go for 8 charcoal for now. So I want 8 charcoal from here. And I want 8 sand here. And it should start supplying the charcoal and the sand. The sand shouldn't take too much longer, assuming that the priorities are correct on this as well, and that it actually has stuff. Okay, that wants all the sand. Sand should adjust. Okay, sand is here. Now we're only waiting for the charcoal, which should take a total of 5 more seconds. There we go. So now it'll start making silicone boules, but obviously it can't accept anything in here because, well, we're tough out of luck. We don't need any silicone boules right now, funnily enough. So we're going to have to wait for the system to make a few more stuff. So we'll have to wait for it to naturally gather all of the charcoal. So let's wait for that, and once we get some more silicone boules, we'll add it to the system. And also restock this with enough wood, because that'd be helpful. I really love seeing all the items just zipping around everywhere. It's much safer than what we had before, though, so I can be happy with that. So first of all, we're going to need to set this up to accept silicone boules, so that this chest is enabled. Then we're going to need to take this one and finally stock up the chest. Now, the problem here is we're going to need to wait for a few more silicone boules so that we can, well, we can't really access this chest as of yet. So that is going to be a bit of an issue, but eventually we'll be able to find, well, maybe improve this design so that it's not so, well, unaccessy. I must have a design sitting around somewhere for that, but no matter. So the next thing that we're going to need to add is continuing on with our crafting system, but for this, it's going to be a little different. So these are straight recipes. In here, we just have pistons. That's all we need. That's all we get. And we can probably set it so that it's more pistons than 32, but we can add to that very easily in the future. Plus, we don't exactly have much redstone, so it's not like we can do magic or anything. Not at all. Okay, so, might as well add this to the system. So I want exactly 2 silicon bowls. And no more, thus this will start jamming, and then we can, at least we'll have silicon bowls in there. So, now, how are we going to add to this? It should be simple enough, but how we will add to it is, let's see if we can compose this correctly. We need to have, for instance, transmutation. Let's actually go with the simple explanation before going into what we need to do. Transmutation is pretty simple in comparison. All we need is to basically have a minium stone and ender pearls, and we'll be able to automatically create iron ingots from this. Now, with automatic crafting tables, it works very interestingly in the fact that if it requires a minium stone or something like that, it's going to need to pull from a chest. Seems simple, right? But here's the tricky part. When basically, managers are very fickle in the sense that they cannot really they differentiate between item values. So, for instance, this minium stone is not the same item as full charge minium stone. So that gets interesting happenings if you try to set up a system that just basically asks for minium stones. But I digress. So, how are we going to be able to rectify this system? Now, the best method would be to basically put a chest down here underneath our automatic crafting table. What this will do is act as another conduit for our stuff. And unfortunately, it seems that my drill is out of charge, so I'm gonna recharge it quickly and switch to backpack mode. Okay, now that we actually have most of the stuff that we need, let's try to develop this system as best as we can. Now, what I'm thinking we'll need is pretty much some sort of method to keep this stocked up with exactly 1 minium stone at a time. Now, really, it doesn't matter what the damage value of the minium stone is. That is not something we need to worry about. But what we need to worry about is how to make sure that it's stocked. To do that, we should take a relay, and I'll put the relay here, and this will basically be at least a temporary area which will stock with our minium stones. Now, it's probably best to put mag tubes as the method of transportation there, and now that I think of it, it might be a very good idea to actually make a few more mag tubes than what we have right now. At least we have the blue alloy and etc. to make them. Now, you may be asking why we'll be using mag tubes instead of just using some standard tubes, because, hey, they are less expensive than that. And do you know what my answer to that would be? Because they're cool. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason. Nah. If that was the reason, that'd just be stupid. That just mean I'm stupid. Anyway, so without my self-deprecating self, let's actually continue and stop being an idiot and placing these wires every which way, because frankly we don't have enough resources for that. But what we do have enough resources for to do, etc., is to actually wire this up. So the reason we want to, going back to the original point, is because these will allow basically all the minium stones we don't want to go out at one given time, because frankly, that's just idiotic. So what we need to do is make sure that all of the stuff gets sent out in a particular amount. What I'm trying to explain rather poorly, I might add, is that we only want one minium stone to get jammed in the relay at a given time. Too many more and we're pretty much just wasting minium stones. Or rather, when we add something to regulate how many full minium stones are in here, it'll just confuse the heck out of the system. So we just want some power. We'll change this by removing those two once we actually have this working, and actually we don't need to do that, but we need to get these mag tubes going over here, but we also need to just hook into this power line as well. So like that, and let's mag tube it up by going into, can you stop destroying yourself? It'd be, you know what, let's put this in another inventory place, okay? Okay, there we go. I really thought about that very well, didn't I? So let's... Yes, and I'm still thinking of this really, really well, aren't I? So, there we go, and our mag tube system is up. Now, what's the only way to stop this from having so many of the minium stones, because that would just be a little insane after a point, is to actually fill the remainder slots with cobblestone, and hope to God you don't press middle click. So just filling this up with cobblestone until we get to the point where every slot except one location is filled. So be right back. And there we go. So we can just put our minium stone here, and that will pretty much say this inventory is full. Please don't look at me. And that should be good. Now it won't. This mag tube won't connect with any possible relays that we have. The only thing that we're going to need to add to stop that would be this, because we are going to need to add another mag tube to continue our system and auto-craft as we were doing before. So let's set that up simply. Now what recipe should we do now? Let's convert our stuff into iron. Yes. So converting our ender pearls into iron, we'll need to have a certain amount of ender pearls in this chest at a particular time, and we need the recipe for the ender pearls. For that, we are going to need to create another minium stone, which will require iron and a few minium shards. So let's get our minium shards and one of these as well to power the system, and then let's make it. Okay, so let's see. We're going to need a minium stone in here, so that'll be the automatic transmutation. That's set to no equals yes. I know, it's kind of odd. Rape is bad, kids. Okay, so getting away from the depressing aspect of everything that we're doing, let's do this, this, and this. We're going to need one bit here, and sorting machine here, as well as our managers connected like so, so, and so. So. Okay, and that pretty much completes the picture except for our tubes, which is going to need a bit of redstone. Let me just crack in a bit of redstone. 2 redstone tubes, 1 regular tube, tube, and this will probably need to go in there. And once again, we'll get our tube here, and the final pièce de résistance is to turn this thing around, because frankly, it's ugly. So, we got everything set up in a sense. All that we need to do is manage this to give us the correct number of ender pearls. So let's grab a bunch of ender pearls and allow ender pearls to be into our chest, our test chest. And what are we going to need? We are going to need from here 16 ender pearls to be in this chest at all times. And this will craft iron, which will go into here, go automatically pulled out, go into here. This currently has no way to pull out the iron. So we are going to need to do that, but let's test this by throwing in a stack of that and a stack of that. And of course, we always seem to forget, this needs a higher priority. Please. There we go. So we got the ender pearls. They are going to steadily allow some iron to get fed into here, and it jams up the system. So what we need to do is allow this thing to hold iron, which we don't have any of, do we? That is a bit of a pickle, isn't it? Okay, so let's put one of those in here and go with that and that. Doesn't matter if this is charged, I don't believe. But let's set this to have all the iron. Set this to have all the iron as well. And then, whenever iron is needed, it'll create the iron from ender pearls instead of pulling it from some sort of far-off reserve. Okay, we're not talking about Aboriginal people here. Okay, so now we just need to have a good amount for this to stop at, because, well, why do we need that? The reason is simple, because we kind of need to have some amount of ender pearl reserve to pull off of. Then again, there are a few ways to do this. Either one, we can auto-transmute all the way up and get to the point where we have a bunch of EMC dense items, such as diamond blocks. So in the future, when we can just use raw EMC, we can do that. Or what we can do is auto-transmute at will from our farm. So go up to diamonds and stop at diamond maximum. That could work, though I think it'd probably be best to auto-transmute upwards all the way until we get to the point where, well, we need more. If that makes any sense. Let's set this, as we can right now, to only want a stack of iron, so that we'll always have some iron on reserve, and then it'll be in there, and then we can automatically pull stuff in. Now, can redstone be made in any sort of transmutation process other than that? No, it doesn't look like it. Some piss poor ways, but other than this horrible transmutation recipe, it doesn't look like it. Though alkahestry, if we look at alkahestry, we can look at the Tome of the Alkahest and its uses, which we can look and, well, make dirt from redstone, which is not a good method, but we can also probably make redstone from lapis. Or is it only one way? It looks like it's only an auto transmutation up. But we can make nether stars if we get wither skeleton skulls, diamonds, etc. And we can make dragon eggs. And this looks fun. So we have an auto transmutation system. It works pretty well, I think, at least. Now, what we need, though, is, well, this thing can easily be modified to, instead of requiring ender pearls to make iron, we can do it the other way around. Say, go from diamonds to gold to iron. So that'll be, what, 1, 2, 3 recipes. That'll be easy enough to manage. Probably 3 in total. So 1, 2, 3, and probably have a simple auto transmutation system, just a linear one that converts all the way to diamond blocks, so we can get everything in a very dense form. We'll probably focus on that next episode, but for this one we still need to get our diamond saws. So how we're going to do that is similar to this. Now, to avoid possible confusion when we're adding to our diamond saw recipes, which I don't think there will be too many, and also I think it'd be a good idea to give a bit more space to these so we don't mix them up. I think we'll only need 3 auto transmutation stations, so auto transmutation stations. Wow, that is... I'm a poet and I didn't know it. So, let's get a big enough space and then add in our next, which will be diamond sawing. So diamond saws pretty much have the exact same needs and wants as the other system. So it's going to be very similar in how it's devised, but probably to make sure that we don't overcomplicate things, we'll set it so that I'm going to use pneumatic tubes in this case because we can change it in the future, but right now I'm not feeling like it. So what we'll do is take out a bit of area here and we'll put the relay here instead for now. We'll be able to change it in the future very easily, but this will help get it ready. So what does it need? It needs to go here and not there. So let's get our dirt and fill in with dirt and dirt, 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 dirt. Okay, I'm getting into an infinite loop cycle. Let's reset ourselves. Okay, so now we can add in this part so that we don't fit anything too much in. And this will have our iron chest for everything that we need. So we are going to need to make a few saws as well as some chests. I thought I had more chests than I do right now, which is none. Imagine that. Okay, so place this down. We'll have our automatic crafting table on top of it as well. And we are going to need to fit in our stuff, so we can't place our automatic crafting table until everything else is done. So diamond handsaw here. And once again, we'll need to fill this up with cobble. So let's get a bit of cobble. And how much do you have? You have a lot of cobble, so I am not worried about that. Let's fill this up. And I wish there was a better method than this. Well, there probably is, though I don't want to invest so much time. Though, even though it will save anyways. Must resist pressing middle button. Okay, temptation over. So, what are we going to need here? We are going to take the silicon boules that we have. Ooh, we took all of them. Oh well. Take the silicon boules and cut them up. And to do that, we're going to need to do this. That seems simple enough, so we'll get 16 silicon wafers per. And that is all we need. So let's put this in the appropriate place, please. Thank you. And once again, chest this up into submission. So, chest, 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 chest. Chest. Okay, I'm getting a little chesty. It's a chest cold, I gotta say. That wasn't even good, Way. Can you get some good material? Sorry, I don't have any sort of good material. Sorry to disappoint you. Okay, so manager will need manager, manager, and manager right here, as well as sorting machine right here. Good thing we have all the resources, because if we attempted to do this earlier in the season, it wouldn't have ended well, I'm pretty sure. So let's get our remaining wires and then button this up so that we can get that. Let's see, they're not really wires, so we can't really wire it. I'm a little wired, I gotta say. So, okay, we got sticks we don't need, we got a target gate, we have our chests, and what am I even looking for? I have no blight. Oh, that might help. And then here we go. So, once again, here, 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 and here. And you came at a very good time because I kind of needed you at that one moment. So, how are we going to get this energy? Simple enough. Let's put this as a tie over. And we're going to need a bit more to tie over. So, do we have any sort of basic wiring? No, we do not. So, let's make a few more wires and get this rectified. What the heck? That I didn't foresee. Okay, gathering all the cobble. That doesn't even make sense. Okay, so I went to craft some of these bad boys, and for some reason, when I used it in the automatic crafting table, it just completely disappeared. Like vanished into the void, disappear. That's just not fair. That's not fair. So, is there any way at all to automatically create using the silicon boules, the stuff that we need? That isn't fair. Okay, so we're going to need to regroup. In case those people who are still confused after that little tirade, what pretty much happened was I tried to pull out the item for the stone brick slabs, and when I did, it completely consumed the handsaw. So there goes 2 diamonds. I don't think that's a very good price to pay. So I'm thinking we're going to need to get something a little more smart. Maybe, does craft packet managers and makers, does that work? Yeah, that might work. Let's get some stampers, makers, etc. and see what we need to do with that. Okay, so we have our craft packet stamper and our craft packet maker that we quickly made. Now I'm not going to have enough time to develop an entire system for everything for this, but let's do a proof of concept by placing our maker and our stamper and do all of this manually. So for this, what we'll need is our diamond handsaw, which is inexplicably missing. There it is. And we'll need some silicon boules. And we got some paper, which is easy enough. So let's put our paper in, and for this, we'll need to put in our diamond handsaw. So we got a diamond handsaw recipe. Now we'll remove this and put that, put in our silicon boule, put this in, and now we have our craft packet. So this is worth 2 diamonds to test, so let's see. Putting this in, hopefully I get the 16 wafers and the diamond handsaw. 16 wafers, diamond handsaw slightly damaged. So that means what we can do is figure out an easy enough device in the future so that we can have some sort of loop that just takes the diamond handsaw after it's done and have 2 of these in line with some sort of paper mill to keep it stocked and keep it going as long as it needs to. So we will be able to devise a system. Now it's just, will that system work? Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. I am disappointed in you, Buildcraft. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.